taking something that's clunky and stale and making it come alive and be dynamic is really just one of the most critical pieces of current CRMs.
All right, friends, welcome back to Market Shares. I'm your host, Tony Blodgett, and today I have with me an awesome guest, and we're going to be talking all about CRMs. Please welcome Molly Borst to the call. Molly, it's great to see you again.
It's so good to see you again. Thank you again for having me. I am really honored to be here talking with you.
Yeah, well, when we talked last time, obviously we're in the process of implementing Bonzo, which is where you work as our primary CRM. But it really made me think about the value of a CRM in general. And obviously, I think Bonzo is a great solution. I'm sure you're, believe that as well, as the vice president of enterprise solutions for Bonzo. But, it doesn't really matter for the sake of this conversation, what CRM someone uses. But I think that we're in a time in the mortgage industry where some people may have gotten a little bit away from utilizing their CRM because people think of it mostly during a refinance market, right? It's like, hey, I'm going to go through all my past clients and figure out who's got interest rates that I could restructure and who's going to be eligible for a refinance. And that seems to be kind of the mindset. But I think back to the days when I originated, and to me, a CRM is so much more than just something that you tap into when it feels opportunistic. So that's what I'm hoping that we can chat about today.
I love that. We have a phrase that we say in my world, which is, what is the best CRM? It's the one you use. So regardless of what CRM you use, using one will be a catalyst to grow your business if you're using it, correctly, and you are engaging with it daily. So I think sometimes there's also a misconception around a CRM is kind of clunky. It takes a long time to navigate through it. Maybe it even feels antiquated. And I'm here to tell you the newer CRMs that are on the rise are not like that. They're not antiquated. They're not difficult to use. They're not clunky, but they have a lot of really innovative technology that I think can, I really believe will help propel your business.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I would be remiss if I didn't, when I think about a CRM, and this is kind of a funny story, and those in the mortgage business know who Tim Brahim is. Tim's a great coach in the mortgage industry, but he used to own a company called Loan Toolbox. But even before that, he was just a wildly successful top producer. And when I went to my very first sales mastery event, which is a Todd Duncan event, it was at the Lowe's Ventana Resort. It was in 1997. I was all of 60 days in the mortgage business. And back then, believe it or not, everyone used ACT as their database. I don't know if you remember ACT. But everyone used ACT. And Tim, when he was done, he talked about having a database, and how he used to use these index cards as kind of like his Rolodex, and how he had customized ACT to be this mortgage specific database. And he actually handed out a 3.5-inch floppy disk to everybody in attendance that you could upload, and this template over ACT to make it mortgage specific. So I was introduced to the concept of utilizing a CRM for relationship management, very, very early on in my career. And for me in particular, it was a huge part of, the interview process. Like when I would take an application, I always, did the page 5 of the application, as they would call it, capturing information about your borrower. That's not just the information that's on, the IRLA, and asking them about, their likes, their dislikes, their hobbies, their family, their pets, all of these things can be really important, I feel like to capture. And so maybe let's talk a little bit about that, Molly, is, when you think about the information that you're capturing into a database, I mean, I think the easy stuff is the loan information for the file that you're doing for them today. Well, what's the address? What's the interest rate? What's the the loan amount, et cetera. Well, what other information do you find is helpful for people to want to put in their database, or maybe even that people don't tend to do that much, but that you think, is a best practice to capture? Any ideas that maybe we can share with our audience today?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So again, when we think about, more current CRMs, the ability to customize whatever data you want in there is accessible and really easy to do. So, for example, if you work at a branch or the way that you operate in your business, you really like to capture their favorite football team, whoever that might be, right? That could be a really great nugget of information to personally connect with that person, right? We love college football. We love the NFL. It's all kicking off. So when the Eagles or the Seahawks go to, the Super Bowl or they win, right? We're going to root for the Seahawks today, Tony, with you. Um, but then you could send out a message to those people, and that could be an easy way to stay top of mind and in front of a customer that you've already served, a current customer you're serving, or even referral business that you want to build out. So the ability to customize that data is something that's really easy to do within Bonzo, and like I said, a lot of the more current popular CRMs. Another thing that we think about when you think about the data you're capturing, it's great to have all of that data, but to your point, if you're not accessing it or using it, what is the point of having it? So if we kind of look ahead to a refi boom that will be coming, that we're all hoping and praying for, it's really helpful to know where those people, what their interest rate is, so that when the rates do begin to fall or dip down, you can easily target people that might be have an interest rate greater than 6% or 7%. When it starts to dip down, we can now dial into those people really specifically and reach out to them with a product offering, or say, hey, I just want to make sure, the market's shifting a little bit. I'd love to have a conversation with you. Outside of the mortgage data that people like to capture, there's also ways to capture, like maybe you want to know if it's a VA, maybe you want to know what, if a VA loan, where did they serve within the military? That might be a really helpful bit of information. So then when Veterans Day rolls around, you can reach out specifically and thank them for their particular service of where they served, within our entire armed forces. So a lot of creativity and flexibility is available. Again, taking something that's clunky and stale and making it come alive and be dynamic is really just one of the most critical pieces of current CRMs.
Yeah. So one of the things, and it's not my intention in this conversation to really, focus on Bonzo as a particular solution, but I know that you know the product well. And
Yeah.
when I think about your example of, let's say, your favorite football team, right? Or a hobby that you're interested
Yeah.
in, I think about, okay, well, what information would I send out to them about that, right? And what I you know, maybe you could give some examples
Yeah.
of some things that you could do. I know that you guys, allow for like video capture. You could have
Yeah.
like a background behind you that might be their favorite team, or the ability to send an article, that you think is specific to them, or really anyone in your database that might like a particular team. You could target them. You could send, articles, videos,
Yes.
gifts,
Gifts.
all sorts
Yep.
of different things. So maybe speak to some of the more modern,
Yeah.
creative ways, specifically, that you would communicate. I mean, the concept of doing that, I think, is one thing. How it is you deliver that message is another thing. So what's
Yeah.
available on the market today with these modern CRMs where you can get creative with connecting with someone on that level?
Yeah, that's such a good question. So we offer an omni-channel approach, which really is going to become the industry standard, where you can reach people not only via email, because as crazy as that sounds, sometimes emails don't get opened. It's becoming
Wait, what? People don't read all their emails? You're kidding me.
I have 4 children, Tony, and so the amount of emails I'm getting from their school alone, like, I can't keep up.
Yeah.
And so maybe something from my loan officer that helped close my house a few years ago, maybe that would get buried so far down in there. So I personally prefer to be communicated to with text across the board. That's my favorite way. But also voicemail drops and phone calls, right? So we have a whole omni-channel approach. And let's take, for example, the football. I'm a huge college football fan. I root for Ohio State. And um, we all know those fans are really passionate. And so, again, when we think about some of our past customers, right? They're living their own life. They're doing their thing. They're thankful to be in their home, thankful for the service you provided. You're probably not going to be number one on their list of things that they're thinking about. However, we want to be on the list of things that they're thinking about on occasion. They have friends, they have family, they're talking. And so you can stay top of mind and really stay in front of them using a longer term drip campaign. But the goal and the key that we have found is, and we have this great little catchphrase that will stick, it's caring is king. So we're not trying to always win business. We want to deliver value. And so delivering value can come through just that one human to human touch where we are recognizing, hey, we know you, we remember you, remembering specific things about people. Again, they said it to you once, you wrote it down in your CRM, and now you have it forever. Now you can quickly sort through your people, find everybody who is an Ohio State fan or, a Seahawks fan. And when their biggest rivals coming up, you can send a really quick text message. You write one text message, you send it out to all, 37 super fans you have on your CRM and say, let's go. I'm super excited for this weekend. And then you put that little GIF of the Seahawks, or you put a GIF of Ohio State, or you put, Coco, if your thing is tennis, if your thing is something particular that's happening in the world, maybe it's the World Cup. Maybe you have a lot of people that you work with that are Spanish speakers, native Spanish speakers, or maybe that's a population that you enjoy working with. I love it. Fantastic. Put gifts that are relevant and culturally relevant to your
Mm.
people, and you reach out and you connect with them that way. Again, the goal is just that connection. We're not trying to get anything from them. All we want to do is make them smile. Let them know we remember them, we know them. That is going to drive value. That's what's going to allow you to stand out in the marketplace.
Yeah, I mean, so many people don't even think about their clients between the time they do a transaction and until it's time to, in their mind, transact again.
That's right.
And it's totally a missed opportunity.
Mhm.
I really love that. So, one thing I do, it to me, it was unique. I haven't seen a lot of modern CRMs, but the fact that you can text message and send gifts and things like that, I think is pretty unique about Bonzo. I'm sure there's others that do it, but I
Yep.
love that about your
Mhm.
platform. So let me ask you this. So if I'm a loan officer, I probably have a list of all my past clients, right? I mean,
Mhm.
most loan officers are keeping that, or they can get it from their company, or it's in Encompass somewhere, or whatever their loan origination software is. So thinking about someone who's implementing a CRM strategy
Yeah.
today, maybe just talk through a little bit about, like, where do you start? Like, how
Mhm.
important is it to scrub that data? How important is it to organize that data? Do you want to upload everything? Do you want to start with maybe, the people that, you remember some details about, or any best practices on where to even get started with someone who is going to invest in a CRM for their
Yeah.
business?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So first I say do your research. Don't be afraid to get on some demos with different companies and see what they have to offer. Again, the best CRM is the one that you use. So find one that works for the way that you work and can easily be integrated into your workflow. Um, Dirty data, like bringing in incorrect data into another system, isn't going to solve anything. It doesn't matter if your new CRM has every bell, every whistle. If you're bringing in data that's old or incorrect, it's just going to now move from this platform where it's sitting to this platform and continue to sit there. That's not the goal, right? So making sure that you have first and last names. I know this sounds really basic, but in Bonzo, we really require 4 things: first name, last name, email, really 3 things, or a phone number. One of the things that we do is we drive conversation. And so there needs to be an outlet from which you can reach out to people. So those are really going to be the critical things. Now, after that, the mortgage details are going to be right, second in line as far as super critical. Again, maybe it's interest rate, maybe it's their credit score, Maybe it's when they closed. Maybe it's a combination of things like that. What's their loan program? What's their value? Things like that that you find important would be really good. But less is more in this situation oftentimes, because if we have too much information, you're not going to spend hours cleaning up your database. You're not. However, you know who will for a very, very reasonable rate? Somebody on Upwork. If you want to find somebody who can cheaply clean up your database for you, and by cheaply, I'm talking under $10 an hour, to take your spreadsheet of 5,000 people, clean it all up, make sure all the rows are the same, there aren't any, capital first names, all capitalized first names, that, the data is just cleaned up for you. Look on Upwork. It will truly take you a few minutes. You can post things out there. You can see people who have literally tens of thousands of positive reviews and hire that out really quickly. Then the best practice, I love what you said, Tony, is starting with past customers. So we have found out that after a loan closes, most loan officers are only reaching out. About 3 to 5% of loan officers are reaching out to their past customers. That is it. That is that's your biggest wealth of information you have, and you're most likely not even touching that. So we need to get those past customers in. You're talking to your current customers. They're in the middle of working with you or possibly working with you. You're talking to your referral partners. They are sending you business. You ought to be on top of them and making sure that you're driving value to them as well. Your past customers, let's get them into a CRM, put them on a long-term drip campaign. And again, you're not trying to sell them or win them over. You just want to continue to deliver value to them. So when there is a need that arises, or their sister or their brother or their best friend or their yoga instructor needs something, they're going to go, hey, I had a great experience with Tony. Let me give you his information. Oh, Tony just happened to text me 3 days ago. What do you know? Now they're going to pass that information off to you. So get those past customers in there. Get them teed up so tag them all as past customers, and then really easily you can move them into a campaign where you're going to now drip them for the next 6, 9, 12 months. But that's like one email every quarter, one text message, in that same quarter period, one voicemail drop, and you're going to keep it very conversational in nature. This isn't boring. This isn't data. This is like why they work with you, because you're you. They want to do business with you because who you are, how you interact, how you communicate, the very essence of you, the kind of business you do, the kind of rates you can get. That's why they want to work with you. And so that needs to be really the spotlight of that interaction.
Yeah. Well, a couple things that I want to touch on that you mentioned, and I think this, for the whole audience is important, is keep in mind that we deal with a lot of borrowers' private personal information. And, whether you're utilizing an outsource like Upwork.com to scrub your data, or even if you're just pulling information out of Encompass or some other,
Yep.
point of sale that you might have, it's really important that you do not put borrower personal data in those spreadsheets. Now, I
Yeah.
know a company like Bonzo and a lot of CRMs, they won't even have a place to
Nope.
capture social security numbers and things of
Nope.
that nature. So the CRM is probably going to protect you in some degree, but you have this data that you might export at some point. And so some companies really have it locked down. Some will help you export that information and get it into a CRM. But if you have access to that data yourself, be really careful. Know the regulations around borrowers' personal data, because this is a place where you could be breaching some of your requirements as a loan officer without even knowing it. So I would just make that word of caution there. And I do love that Bonzo doesn't even let you put that information into the system. So that
It's
is
not
great news.
necessary. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
There's no reason for it. We don't need to get in, to your point. Let's protect data. That's what
Well,
we want to.
it's not a loan origination system. It
No,
is a
that's right.
relationship center,
Yeah,
and that's what it's intended to be. The
that's
other
right.
thing that I wanted to mention, and one of the things I love about Bonzo, and I know that other CRMs do this as well, but the ability to create very not only customized, but personalized campaigns.
Yep.
Because when I think of a campaign, like, I work at a company where we do, a life of loan post-closing
Mm.
campaign. So you close a loan, and a lot of companies have this. This has kind
Yes.
of become, table stakes here in the
Yeah.
mortgage industry. But you guys, this is like basic stuff. We send out some things that I think are a little bit unique, birthday cards, anniversary cards. But a lot of what's going out is it's going out to every past client that you close the loan for. And, I wouldn't say that, to stop doing that. Like, let your company provide this kind of canned, nurturing campaign,
Yeah.
but don't kid yourself that that's enough. I mean, it's not
Mm.
going to be personal enough. It's not going to be specific enough to them.
Yep.
And it's usually going to be through email a lot
Yep.
of times.
Yep.
Maybe some postcards go out, but you can tell that these are mail that's been ran through a big machine, that's been, stamped by a machine. And, it's just not personal feeling
Yeah.
at all. And what I love about Bonzo, and really what I want people to take away from this more, is that you got to create custom campaigns that feel like they're relational. So they got to utilize voicemail drops. They got to utilize text messages.
Yes.
And with the text messages, you got to add emojis here or there. You got to add the GIFs. You got to make it feel like if you were texting a friend of yours, what
That's
would that
right.
text look like? And so that's what you can do with a powerful
Mm.
CRM, is you can take kind of this, what otherwise would be a mundane communication, and you
Mm.
can really spice it up. And even though it's like a set it and forget it thing,
Mhm.
when you build it, if it's easy to build and gives you all these different mediums in which to be creative with your content, it'll be automated, but it will feel much more
Very
personal when the
personal.
person gets it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's
And
right.
that's a huge takeaway. I mean, if you take away one thing from this conversation, it's that, having a static set it and forget it campaign, probably that's provided by your company, is nice. It's not what we're talking about here. We're talking
No.
about really specific communication through different mediums, that are really helping you nurture and keep that relationship that you probably built while you did their transaction, right?
That's right. So one thing that Jason Perkins, who's one of our co-founders of Bonzo, says all the time, and it's this, and it makes me chuckle, but it's pumpkin pie recipes are not going to move the needle. They're just not. That is not going to help you stay current and present. But you know what will? A video that's 15 seconds of you saying, "Hey, I just want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving. I am so grateful that of all the people that you could work with, you chose to work with me. I hope you have a wonderful holiday." How quick was that? 7 seconds, maybe 8 seconds. Record that video, send that out to all of your people. If you have 22 people in your entire database or 2,200 people, you can send that video out. Write one text message. You're going to use the ability to customize and individualize that within Bonzo and within your CRM super easily. Now it looks like you have written an individual text message to every one of these people. If you notice, I didn't say, "Hey, Tony, happy Thanksgiving." You're going to
Right.
keep it general, because that generality actually feels very individualized when you write an individualized text, a customized text to that person. So you're going to utilize videos. Again, GIFs. GIFs are an entire language. Y'all, the generation, the biggest buying power right now, as far as first time home buyers, have a language that they use, and it's called GIFs and emojis. That is, I know that feels a little bit like this feels maybe unprofessional, or like, should I really use this? Yes.
Yeah.
It will move the needle. I promise you. There are gifts that are culturally relevant that everybody knows. Think Forrest Gump waving. That is one of the most popular gifts that causes people to respond. And the respond might be haha, or they just give you a thumbs up on your text message. That counts at, like, that is, they saw it. They noticed it. They didn't not open the email. They responded to your text message with a laughing, emoji back. So use that omni-channel approach, but yeah, make it personalized, but do it in a way that is smart. Use technology in your favor. Let's write one text message. Let's write, or let's say we talk about a nurture campaign. We're going to write one text message, one email, for that's going to go out on the first month, and the second month, we're going to drop a voicemail, and you're going to record all of these 1 time. And now all of your past customers that come in that you're nurturing will continue to get that same thing. So you look like you are on top of it. Nobody is falling through the cracks, but you've worked smarter. You've written it once, and now it's applicable to everyone. And you can keep those current so easily. If a gift goes, like maybe for this season, you put in a gift that's for college football, and then you set a reminder within your CRM to update that gift when it gets to winter, and then you add a snowman, and then you add a reminder to update it in the spring, and you add lilies or something, whatever it might be. But it's so easy to keep it current with just changing a GIF or
Yeah.
re-recording a little 10-second video. It's so easy to do.
Well, I think that what might be intimidating about this conversation for people is that it requires them to do some work, because I, I mean, sorry, but it's true.
It's true.
So many people that would say that, yeah, I use my CRM. They're using kind of either, pre-built campaigns that maybe come with the CRM or the
Yep.
company that provides it,
Yep.
or they're using something their company provides. And I'm not saying those are useless.
Right.
Those are okay also, but
Yep.
but there needs to be some personalization to what it is that you're doing. And the only way for that to happen is for you got to dedicate some time, but you also have to utilize a CRM that makes it easy to do.
Mhm.
I personally, when I first saw Bonzo, I was, pretty blown away at the ability to, as you say, omni-channel, use these multiple different mediums, as I refer to them, to communicate, and then how to build those campaigns.
Mhm.
Look, there's other CRMs out there, but when you're looking at CRMs, that's what I'd be focused on. Is just know that you're going to have to do some of your own work to make this really be impactful. So if you're going to do the work, which platform is going to make that work a little bit easier for you to
For you.
do and
That's right.
implement, and then edit and change with the times? Because you're
That's
absolutely
right.
right. As this information changes, as the market changes, then your messaging and your communication needs to change along with it. So think about those things. Well,
Mhm.
we got a little bit of time left. I want to ask you, Molly, when you work with people doing, that are implementing a new CRMs all the time. So let's just
Mhm.
say that I get the information into my CRM, or my company helps me push the information in. How important is it to, organize that information
Mm.
into groups? Or is it just that by adding certain identifiers when you put them in, that you can then sort them into groups? Or talk a little bit about, how worried should I be about, people talk about ranking my past clients A's, B's, and C's, and the people that have sent me a referral and the people that haven't. And you hear all sorts of different kind of ways to organize some of this data.
Yeah.
How necessary is that? Is there easy ways to do it?
Mm.
What are your thoughts on organizing your information once you clean it up and then get it up into your CRM system?
Yeah, so a couple of things there. Organization, after the data is cleaned up, organization is going to be imperative to your success. Because if you can't find things quickly in your CRM, you're not going to use them. It's that simple. So, if you currently have a CRM, look for things like statuses. In Bonzo, we call those tags, and other CRMs are called statuses. It's a way to quickly sort the type of lead it is. So we like to think about it in three different ways. Keep it simple while you're getting started. You can always get more granular, but to your point, sometimes it feels really overwhelming to the point of paralysis, because like I have 6,500 people that I've worked with. I have a huge career. I'm really good at what I do. I don't have the time or energy to do that. You do. You have the time or energy. I like to just always remind ourselves that we have time and energy to scroll through Instagram or TikTok, so we have time to work on our business. But once you get people into the CRM, then you want to organize them. Again, the three things that we talk a lot about, the three groups to think about: past customers, current customers, referral partners. Those are the big three. And then new leads would be the fourth one we add in there. So break it down. And if those aren't your four or your three, no problem. Figure out what yours are. I mean, you can truly just take a few minutes, sit down at your desk, think, how do you want to break these people down? Within that, you can create a group of realtors, or a list of realtors, and then you can get granular. These are my A realtors, right? They're giving you the most business. Then you have your B. So you can quickly compound that organization within Bonzo for sure, and in a lot of CRMs where you can have multiple tags. So they might be you're an agent, a real estate agent, but also they're on your A list. So you could quickly pool all of your agents if you wanted to send something out to all of the agents you work with. Let's say on a Friday, and you want to send them a quick text message. Hey, it's Molly over at 123 Mortgage. I'll be around all weekend. Don't hesitate to ping me if you need something. It's that simple. You write one text message and you send it out to 50 people. But then you could also dial in and just reach out to the ones that are your A agents that you work with. So the reality is like, let's take this elephant, and I'm blanking on this phrase, but like eat it one bite at a time. I think that's what it
Right.
is. Don't get overwhelmed with all of the things you need to do. Start with what makes sense for you. A couple of good launching points might be past customers, current customers, referral partners, and then maybe leads. And from there, you can really start to break down, what that looks like and get more granular on. And then if you're looking at CRMs, look at those templates, what you were just talking about, Tony. We have some really good pre-made templates within Bonzo. So if you're kind of in that discovery phase still, ask those questions. How easy is it for me to organize my data once it's in? How easy is it to bring my data in and bring in certain fields that are important to me that might not be, those native fields on a CRM? How easy is it to build templates? Those and templates, when I talk about that, that's that campaign. That's a longer duration outreach to people. So a couple of good questions to ask, or even if you have a CRM, start asking those questions and getting answers to those.
Yeah. Awesome. So you listed, past clients, current clients, realtors. I didn't hear you talk about the list of a farm area or 8,000 people you might have got from your local title rep. I mean, let's talk about that for a second, because some people I talk to and
Yeah.
they're like, well, I have 8,000 people in my database. I'm like, wow, how many loans have you funded? It's like, oh, I've helped like 800 families. I'm like, well, what are the other, 7,200
Yeah.
contacts that you have? So what are your thoughts on lists that you may have purchased? Or, some
Yeah.
people will get a database from their real estate agents or other referral partners, or other people they work with, and then they kind of co-market with them or something. So any thoughts on just massive amounts of data? I think I know what your answer is, but massive amounts of data, the people you don't have a relationship with. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts on that?
So I don't know if I'm going to answer in a way that you're thinking, but I say get them in there, get them on a long-term drip campaign. Start with a video of yourself. Hey, just wanted to put a face with the name. I'm Molly Borst over at 123 Mortgage. Just let me know if you need anything, or I got your information from whomever, if it was a real estate agent. But get them in there and start dripping them. You would be shocked at the kind of response that you get. Our system has like a 60, in the mid to upper 60s response rate. That is even if they're an old list that you got maybe from Zillow and their age leads, get them in there. Start reaching out to them. You would be surprised at, maybe you get five loans out of that list of 6,000 people. Mostly it won't be 6,000, but let's say you had 200 people. Maybe you're going to get 6 actual loans out of that. When they're just sitting in there not doing anything, let's start reaching out to them. And then if that, once that happens, if they run through the duration of it, just put them over to the side, put a tag that says old or something on it. You can keep them in there if you feel like you need to. If not, get them out. Keep your data current, keep it clean. But I will tell you, those age Zillow leads, you would be shocked at how many people respond and start to engage. I would be remiss if I don't talk about how easy it is to integrate. And so when you're talking about CRMs, ask the question, start to dig around. How easily can I pull leads in from a lead gen source into my CRM and immediately start reaching out to them? Because for those lead gen sources that you're referring to, you kind of talked about them, but if we talk about realtor.com, Lending Tree, Zillow, those are really important. You're paying for those. Let's make sure you are engaging them immediately. And all of that can flow through automation, where as soon as Zillow pushes it over, you can drop it right into a campaign and start reaching out to those people
Okay.
instantly.
Yeah, I didn't, I've never utilized leads as part of my business, but that's a really good point. And it's really part of what I think the modern originator
Yes.
today is doing because, we all know that more and more customers, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on who you ask, they're
Yeah.
going to the internet, to look for a mortgage. And so, we don't all love these lead aggregators, but the reality is they're catching a lot of these clients before they
Mhm.
ever talk to a real estate agent. And if you can invest in those, it's going to be wasted
Yep.
money if you can't get right on top of those. So what you're
That's
saying
right.
is a good CRM is going to be able to just literally dump those leads in and automatically put them onto a drip campaign.
That's right. Yep, instantaneously. So while you're working, you're out to lunch, you're at a closing, your messaging is going out to people that are, potential customers for you that are leads. So I say if you have data, get in there, start sending messages, see what sticks. And then if not, if you put them on a campaign and people don't respond or they opt out, you're good to go. You can just, just get them out of there so that you keep that the people that are interested in there. That's what we want to do is just continue to deliver value.
So do you think it'd be easy if let's just say I had a list from a real estate agent and they said, "Hey, let's try to
Co-bring
market,
it. Yes.
yeah." So if I upload them in, is it easy for me to tag that whole
Yep.
group as a certain tag
Yep.
that I could filter out later so it doesn't just get all mixed in with my stuff?
Yeah. Instantaneously. So upon import, you can create a way to filter those people out, group them together using a tag. And then, so let's say, Tony, you're the agent and Molly's the LO, and Tony gives me a list of, 150 people. Great. I can put them into my CRM, tag them, Tony's, people. And then now I have that tag in there. I can quickly sort by them, find all of those people. And again, this is where the technology really plays in your favor. You're going to create one video that says, "Hey, I wanted to put a face with my name. I got your information from Tony. He's a good friend of mine. We've done business together for years. Here's my link. Book a coffee. Book a time to grab coffee with me."
Right.
That's it. And then you drop your link in there on Calendly or whatever app you use to have people book appointments with you.
Yeah, I love it. All right. Well, we're wrapping up towards the end of this episode, but I want to know. I asked you a handful of questions. What didn't I ask you that you think that this audience, which is mostly mortgage and real estate professionals, what is there anything else that you could think of that they should think about or consider when it is or a compelling reason why they should consider having a CRM that is and correct me if I'm wrong, you should be using your CRM like every day. Like this
Every
should
day.
be
You
an
should be
on
living in it.
living
Yes,
in it. Yeah.
that's
So
right.
and
That's right.
any other thoughts as we kind of bring this conversation to a conclusion?
Yes, I have a couple of thoughts, but I'll just stick with one primary one, and that is find a CRM that works for you. Truly, you ought to be living in your CRM. And the power of automation is mind blowing. If it feels uncomfortable to you, that is okay. It feels uncomfortable to a lot of people. Do not allow that to stop you. Lean into that because with Chat GTP, automation through, these really current CRMs, it will blow your competition away. Allowing your voice to stand out in the marketplace is going to be super important and continue to be super important. Even if you have a lot of referral business, that is great. You still need to be in your CRM, making sure that you're on top of your communication. And you can do that through the power of automation in a way that you can rest at night because throughout the duration of the loan process, people are being updated appropriately. Co-borrowers, primary borrowers, agents, ask questions about, can this easily integrate with my LOS or my POS? I would ask those questions. Think about how that integration can begin to flow because that is really where it's lights out. Now you're sending messages specifically to your borrowers, your agent. Hey, just great news, you're pre-approved. And you put a little GIF in there that's, a little celebration GIF. Or, I'll see at the closing table, with a little house emoji. Those kind of things are incredible. And it helps those of us who have super busy lives, which is all of us. So think about your customer. It helps them just know, right, got it. I've received the communication. I'm good to go. But you write that once and it stays current for everybody.
Yeah, I love that. Well, Molly, I'd like you to, if people are interested in getting a
Yeah.
demo of Bonzo as one of the options they might consider, what would be the best way for them to go about
Yep.
either getting in touch with you or someone that could help them with that?
Yep, you can always find me on LinkedIn. It's Molly Borst, Borst. But for a demo, you want to go to getbonzo.com and you'll see right there in the upper right where you can book a demo. I'm telling you, your CRM can be fun. I promise you. I'm in mine all day, every day, and it is genuinely fun. So it doesn't
Well,
have to be boring.
yeah, no, look, I think Bonzo is a great solution. You guys take Molly's advice though too. Demo multiple CRMs.
Yeah,
I encourage you to do that. It's no different than, I encourage a client when I'm originating a loan, which I don't do much today, but I'd say, hey, go shop around.
that's right.
It's a big decision, and it's something you're going to be living in every day. Shop around, see what's out there, but just know that what's most important is, to Molly's point, it's something that you're going to use all the time. And it
Yeah,
needs to be a piece of technology that's built for the industry that you're in and makes the ability to not just build campaigns, but build them in a way that
mm,
allows you to have a very personal relationship with your customer while automating
yeah,
that communication. And that is not an easy thing to pull off, but when you can go with multiple different mediums, different kind of that omni approach to text messages, voicemail drops, emails, screen captures,
yep,
all of the things that allow you to personalize it's going to make a big difference. And I really think I'm excited to see our team utilizing the Bonzo platform, but really for everybody watching this, if you're not dialed into your CRM, if you have one and you're not using it, like seriously, what are you doing? Now's the time, because
now's the time.
well, it really is a more important time than ever. Mostly, partly because business is slow and we need to
Yep,
have those relationships. But you guys, every loan that we're originating right now is going to be a potential refinance at some point in the near future. There's
yes,
never a point in time that I could think of where it would be more important to really start capturing that information, making good notes, getting ready for how it is you're going to reach out to folks when the time comes. Because, like Molly said, most people never talk to their client after they close their loan. But you know who does talk to your client all the time?
mhm,
The company that's servicing them. And
that's
they're
right.
going to be trying very hard to keep that loan in them. So if you work for a company that is not servicing their own loans, chances
Yep,
are someone else is in touch with your client every single month. They'll be very proactive as rates come down, and you got to be able to cut through that noise and remind them not just who you are, but that they have a personal relationship with
that's
you.
right.
And utilizing your CRM in the right way, in my opinion, is the way to do that. So
Yeah.
awesome conversation, Molly. Thanks for,
Mm,
we don't do a lot of these virtual podcasts, but this one turned out awesome. I'm glad we were able to get you on here and
yeah.
have this conversation, because it's something that I'm really passionate about right now.
Yeah.
And I think that everyone really should be, taking inventory of what they're doing
That's
in
right.
this space. So
That's right. That's right. And look, two other things I want to say. Right now is a great time to work on your business while things are a little bit slow, so that when they do ramp up, you can work for
mm,
your business, right? And then secondly is look for a CRM that allows you to reduce your tech stack, because we're all using lots of different platforms. Ask questions about, can you easily record videos? Can I easily send text messages, do voicemail drops? You can really actually save time and energy and money by just condensing all of those into a single CRM. So look what's out there. Innovation is continuing to skyrocket to the moon. At Bonzo, we like to say innovate or die. We really believe staying current is what matters. And so just find something again that works for you.
awesome. Well, guys, check out getbonzo.com. Also, if you're looking to pull your data together to get ready, upwork.com, as Molly mentioned, might be a
Mhm.
great resource to help you save some time and money getting your information together. And as always, thank you for taking the time to watch Market Shares. And as I
Mhm.
say on every episode, I love it when you like and subscribe to the videos. That helps. But more importantly, share this with someone in the mortgage or real estate industry that you think needs to hear this information. That referral is the best compliment that I could ask for. Molly, thank you so much for your time and your work with us in getting Bonzo integrated. And to everybody, until next time, take care.